COP27 underway, we're going to look at carbon footprints. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. It's great to see you as always. Hope you're enjoying the content. Please consider subscribing. If this is your first view, I hope to earn your subscription today. That would be marvellous. Please always comment below. It's always good to hear what you've got to say. So without further ado, with COP27 underway, we're going to look at carbon footprints and what they are. Where did the term come from? What's it all about? And without further ado, let's get on with it. Carbon footprints. We're all concerned with our carbon footprint, whether we're buying things in the shop, driving our car, or charging our electrical implements at home, or even watching the telly, I suppose, or watching Facebook like you're doing now. Thanks for watching, by the way. Back in the 1990s, two guys, and I will read their names, Mathis Wackernagle and William Rees, came up with the term carbon footprint. Well, the term they came up with was ecological footprint. But do you know who made the term famous? British Petroleum, BP. Can you see where this is going to end? In the early 2000s, BP decided that they needed a marketing campaign, obviously for their benefit. So they came up with the environmental footprint calculator, the aim of which was to help you calculate the amount of carbon you are either directly or indirectly responsible for. That is the greenhouse gases. Sounds great. Well done. Well done, BP. There are all sorts of things that you would need to include in a calculator, surely, such as daily transport, type of transport, distance travelled, waste disposal, amounts and price of clothing purchased, food purchased. It's a lot to take into account, but without an accurate calculator, how can you ever be accountable? These days there are some good carbon footprint calculators out there, but what we need to do is have a look at how BP framed theirs. Back in 2004, BP's calculator allowed you to work out your direct and indirect responsibilities. Read carbon. But hang on, a fossil fuel based company allowing people to work out their fossil fuel use and the damage it's causing. Hang on a darn minute, what's going on here? Previous to our newfound term, carbon footprint or ecological footprint was developed in the 1990s and early 2000s. Back in the 1980s, there was another new term that we had to get to grips with. Greenwashing. So, what's the definition of greenwashing? I'll read it. It says the use of marketing to portray an organisation's products, activities or policies as environmentally friendly when they are not. So let's see how BP assembled their calculator. So first question, where do you live? Now, if you answered America, BP were happy with that. Great, you live in America. Nice. Hang on. In America, each state is responsible for its own electrical production, how it gets energy, where it uses it, and what it uses it for. So you can't just say, I live in America, because some states will be producing greener energy than others. If you get most of your energy from renewables rather than coal, then your carbon footprint is going to be a lot different. And BP didn't want to take this into account. Nice one. Next question. BP want to know about your travel details. Do you know your travel details on a daily basis, or do you already know your travel details in metric tons? That's metric tons of carbon, by the way. But the calculator is just limiting your emissions to just your transport and no other transport. Nothing else. As if everything just appears in your house, near your house, in your town by magic. Nice one, BP. This is great. I'm sure we're going to get an accurate figure, aren't we? So a real calculator, of course, would actually break it down a lot further. Transport, household, waste, spending, online activity and more. And then each of those sections would be broken down further with multi-questions asked, so that you can actually get a much more accurate figure. So back to that car that you've just put into BP's calculator. They're not actually interested in the size of the car, the make, if it's regularly serviced, if that four-wheel car that you had has only got three wheels. Who cares? Does it matter? Hey, I did 5,000 miles this year in my 4x4 6-litre super bugger. And then I drove 10,000 miles in my Citroen 3-cylinder eco car. But BP just didn't care. We're definitely getting a good figure here. This is brilliant. Yeah, okay, hang on. It is difficult to get an accurate figure, I will give you that. But BP's was just naive. Do you drive petrol or do you drive diesel? That's all we need to know. So you worked your way through BP's calculator and now they are going to give you your metric tons per annum. And here's an interesting bit. What they now offer you is a way to pay or offset your carbon footprint. Yes, you can now pay BP an amount of money to offset your carbon footprint. This is, of course, a world problem, not just a BP problem. Paying to offset your carbon emissions is not really good thinking. And it's probably why the world is a bit messed up. I often wonder who calculated the figure that the world is allowed to produce in metric tons of carbon, and how much each ton costs, and how they're going to offset it. Who came up with that? Bollocks! I can't get out of my mind this utter madness that we have entered. Sure, here's some money, mister. My mind is free from worry. This bizarre notion that we can pay somebody some money, they'll plant a tree, and everything's fine. This, to me, is a superb example of greenwashing. Just pay some money, plant a tree, plant a hedge, make some grass somewhere. Anyway, back to BP. Yes, you can pay them some money for your roughly 16 metric tons of carbon that you produce or use, depending on how you wish to look at it. Meanwhile, how much do BP produce? Well, it's about 412 million cubic tons a year. Nice. This makes me laugh so much. I wonder where it's going. Where are we going? Come on. So BP was funding these offset projects, but wanting you to pay for them. So yes, keep an eye on your carbon emissions, pay up for them, feel guilt-free. Meantime, in 2017, the top 100 companies produced 70% of the global emissions. So BP tried to make out that the whole problem is your problem and nothing to do with them. So BP wanted everybody to go on a low carbon diet. Meanwhile, their carbon diet just grew and grew and grew. In 2018, BP stated that they were in the field of renewable energy, yet they only invested 2.3% of their budget in it. So it's all about the psychology in advertising, showing they're doing something when it's all your fault. Let's hope COP27 actually comes up with something really constructive. And I don't just mean another let's do this by a certain date. What we actually need is some real action on the ground with real people. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts on BP, their calculator, COP27, etc. Anyway, somewhere around here will be a link to another video. Please watch it. Please do consider subscribing, and I will see you on the next video.